Welcome to the JP8 Report. This is James Pierce with the JP8 Report with a 2026 election interview with Coryell County Judge candidate Rob Erwin. Thank you, Rob, for coming on out this evening.
Thank you, James. I appreciate the invitation and the chance to get my word out.
Before we get started, I just want to let everybody that's watching if you're not already a subscriber to the JP8 Report, it'd be greatly appreciated if you click that follow button and then click that like button and then share it out and help him out. Just enjoy the interview. And we got some questions for him, and let's get this started. Ready?
I'm ready.
All right. So tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
My name's Rob Erwin. Been a citizen of Coryell County, Precinct 4 my entire life. I am 68 years old. I'm retired. I've been self-employed for a while. I worked for a couple of big companies. I worked civil service on Fort Hood for a little while. Got married for 48 years as of February of this coming February to the same lovely woman. We have 2 children. I've got 5 grandchildren. 2 of them are in college. Down around Bryan down there. I can't hardly say that. One of them is at Stephen F. Austin, and the other 2 are young. They live in let's draw a blank. Teague, Texas. We're proud grandparents. That's what life's about, and we enjoy chasing grandkids.
Okay. So,
excuse me.
So what are the roles of the county judge?
Well, the county judge provides over the commissioner's court. He's in charge of budgeting, planning for the future. He's in charge of emergency management. Setting the agenda for the courts, getting everything set up. Should be fair in his judgment, serve every community equally. He's just the chief operating officer, I guess you'd say, for the county. He is, I guess, an equal part of the commissioner's court. However, he is in charge of the commissioner's court.
Okay. What are the qualifications to be county judge?
You have to be a resident of the state of Texas for 12 consecutive months. You have to be a resident of Coryell County for 6 consecutive months. You have to be 18 years old or over. And you cannot have a felony conviction.
Okay. Not pretty hard.
I'm sorry?
Not hard.
Not hard.
Not hard.
Not hard.
How big of a problem is illegal immigration in Texas? And you can narrow that down to Coryell County.
Yeah, Coryell County. We've always had illegal immigrants. We just have. I mean, I've known a bunch of them. I worked with a bunch of them. Good folks. I have an example. A guy I worked with previously. Prior to 9/11, 2001, he was legal. He has a driver's license, a social security card, and a work visa. And September 11th, all that went away. So he became illegal. He's still here, but I mean, he lives on pins and needles if he gets a traffic stop or something like that. I mean, he knows the consequences. And, there's a lot of good people here in Coryell County. And I talked to the sheriff the other day, about jail population and stuff. And I asked him, how many inmates do we have that are waiting on transport either to ICE or wherever? He said very few. And he said, we don't have an illegal immigrant problem. When we get folks locked up and it's a nice situation, they're here within a few days to pick them up. So, the counties down around the Rio Grande and South Texas and San Antonio, Houston, your bigger cities, I'm sure they have a lot more issue than what we did in Coryell County, but I don't think it's a major thing in Coryell County, and it's certainly getting better once you close that door.
Well, are you pro-life? Are you pro-life?
Absolutely pro-life, 100%.
Okay. Well, do you support closing primaries?
I do. I think, in my opinion, if you vote as a Republican in the primary, then you should be required to vote as a Republican in the general election. You shouldn't be able to vote either one. You know, if you vote in a primary, you vote as a Democrat, you should have, and you may have to, do you? I know you used to a long time ago you did. I seem to think I did when I first started voting.
Well, the rule is if you vote in a Republican primary, you can vote in the runoff if there's a runoff, but you can't just cross over. If you vote in a Democrat primary, you can't vote in a Republican runoff.
But what about the general election?
Oh no, that's free for everybody.
It's free. See, I think it should be, if you vote as a Republican, when it gets down to the general election, you should have to vote in the Republican Party. You voted to nominate this guy. If you don't support him, don't nominate him.
That is exactly true.
Yeah.
That is, and we got a question pertaining to that toward the end, so
Okay.
keep that in the back of your mind, okay?
No,
and you can
not
look
much
at it.
room in my little mind.
Yeah. That's all right. But just look at it. It's a loyalty question when it becomes to voting for them. Because it's like you said, if you're not going to vote for them in the primary, why would you vote for them
Exactly.
down the line?
Exactly.
So, what are your views on term limits?
Term limits. I think the judicial portion of it, or let's say the, for lack of a better term, I'll call it the executive portion of it, the county judge, the commissioners, all that. I feel like they should be 3 terms max. That's 12 years. That's to me, that's enough. If you get your stuff done in that length of time, it's time for somebody to come in with a new perspective. The judicial side of things, your judges, your county attorney, district attorney, all the judges at law, you know, I'm not for term limits on them. I think that some of those folks will be extremely hard to replace. We have great people in place. I would hate to lose them over a time deadline. You go on up to the Senate, House, the bigger deals. You know, I think 5 terms, 20 years is plenty for anybody. I think that should be their limits. And then, of course, your vice president and president, well, they're 4 years. Yeah, two terms in 4 years. So.
So, do you support campaign finance reform?
I do. Campaign finance is a problem. We have so many, not necessarily on the local level, but when you get up into the House and the Senate, and you have all these people voting that are, I'm not going to say indebted to, but they are campaign funded by big pharma, insurance companies, all the different, you know, the political campaign, the PACs. I think that has a great tendency to skew somebody's opinion one way or the other, and that's not right. At the end of the day, it's just not right.
And you know, a PAC is required to file a campaign finance report,
Right.
just like a candidate is or an office holder is.
I did not.
And then, and they'll get fined just like a candidate will if they don't by the Texas Ethics Commission. So it'd behoove if you have a political action committee, file your stuff online because, like they say, your sins will surely find you out.
Yeah.
Because people are looking for that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you were king for a day and could make a policy happen or be repealed, what one policy would you choose?
There's a lot of things here, and I gave a little bit of thought to this. Through my experiences on the school board, and I haven't had any local government type experience, but I've seen some things. You know, I feel like the unfunded state and federal mandates that come down, and your school district is required or partially funded. We'll fund it for a year to get it started, and then they dump it on the taxpayers to keep it going. I wish we could do away with that. If they're going to send a memo down the pipe or send a mandate down the pipe that you have to do this, you have to do this, and then they should be required to pay for a portion of it, and I'm going to say a minimum of 50%.
Okay.
You know, it'd be good if they could, and as soon as they decide they're out of money, they can't fund it anymore, then that mandate goes away. Good, bad, or indifferent. I mean, it's just more of a load on the taxpayers. And some of that stuff gets real expensive. We dealt with that in the school district, and it was very expensive.
Did you say that you used to be on the school board?
Yes, 2 terms in Gatesville.
Gatesville's okay. So you are experienced then with
Yes.
electoral politics
Yes.
and stuff. Okay.
little bit.
So you're not going in like I'm a new guy.
Well, I know just enough to get me in trouble.
How long have you been off of the school board?
Have I been off?
Yeah.
Oh, I've been off of it probably for 6 or 7 years.
Okay. So you still know what's going on.
A little bit.
Okay. All right. I did not know that about you. I thought this is your first run
First
of
big
public
job.
office. Yeah. Okay. I was like, man, you jump off into the deep end.
Yes.
Well, there are people that do that.
Budget wise, it's very similar. I think the county budget's now I don't know what the school is, probably close to 30 million. It was 25 or 6 million when I was there several years ago. So the budgets are probably very similar.
Okay.
Dollar wise. Of
Dollar-wise.
course, it's going to be allocated differently, but that's
Wish you got some of that state funds too.
yes.
So, what one part of county government would receive more attention if you were elected?
The part that I've been keeping up, I've been to all the commissioners' meetings probably since August or September, 4 or 5 months, with one exception, 2 exceptions. I would have to say the commissioners' court. We have there is a need there for a lot of repair. It looks to me like cohesiveness needs to come back. They all need to get their heads together, working towards the same goal instead of he's against it, I'm for it. There's some of that going on, and a lot of the problems that the commissioners' court has is just, I feel like it's just not getting along.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of room for improvement there.
Well, one thing I did see before is the difference between the commissioners' court and like school boards. Because I used to be on a city council and a board trustee at Central Texas College. We always had like the chancellor or we had the city manager.
Right.
At county, you don't have none of that. You have or if you do get elected,
Right.
and you have 4 commissioners, and y'all got
Right.
instantly work together and make everything come together
Correct.
without a senior advisor putting it all together for you.
Right. So the county judge's job is like a superintendent of the schools, and then the school board actually advises the superintendent. They put out suggestions,
Right.
but he makes the policy. Same thing. The commissioners will have suggestions, recommendations. The county judge is the one that makes the policy, I'm assuming.
Right. Okay. So what do you see as the most pressing need for infrastructure or capital project inside the county?
Depending on which end of the county you're on. I believe the number one thing is the elephant in the room is the inmate population, the jail itself. I would really like to explore ways I haven't sat down and talked with Sheriff Williams about how can we speed up, how many inmates do you have that are waiting on transport to Department of Criminal Justice, to the state jail, to ICE, and then, I know Bell County is building a new mega jail. Hopefully we can do some negotiating with them and get our inmates that are way off in these other jails moved back to Bell County, so anytime we need them, we've got a 35 or 40 mile transport as opposed to a 200 or 300 mile transport. But still, it's like renting an apartment or buying a house. You somewhere down the road, you're either going to keep paying rent and you're not ever going to have anything to show for it, or you buy that house and you're going to build equity, and we can get into that later. But if we were to build a jail, I would really like to be a landlord. I want to build enough bed space that we can rent it out to other places and help pay for our facility.
Okay.
So
you alluded to the north part of the county, or central to the north, but what about the south part?
The south part, the county jail is the whole jail. That's where I'm getting to. So my other thing is our water supply.
Okay.
So y'all are in pretty good shape down here because you get your water from Bell County, which comes through Fort Hood. I don't know if they have a separate line that comes to Copper's Cove, but it all comes out of Bell County water supply. They take pretty good care of business. City of Gatesville, we have a very old infrastructure as far as water line. Our water line is, I'm going to say it's probably 30, 35 years old to Lake Belton. It's held up pretty well. I worked for a company that did a lot of repairs on it. When they would have a major leak, we would repair it. In the 12 years I was there, I only remember 2 or 3 times that happening. But at some point, it's going to be a major expense to repair that water line, replace that water line, and that's a 25, 30 mile water line, and it's a large diameter. I want to say that's not correct. It's not that big. Maybe it might be a 30 or a 36 inch. I know the one coming across to Fort Hood is 42. They just replaced a big section of that one. They had a lot of high pressure lines, and when it had a blowout, it was a mess.
It was pretty cool watching them run it across by the fence line.
Yeah. But that's my two. It'd be the jail facility itself, because of the expense, and then the infrastructure on the water for the north part of the county, because all the rural counties, most of those get their water from Gatesville through that water supply system. I don't know of any city that's on well water still. And there are a lot of people that are on well water individually. But I think all of the rural communities and everybody are on rural water supplies.
Well, we don't have a natural source of water inside of Coryell County anyway.
Right. And it kind of got a lot of people's attention when you could walk across under the bridge there on 36. Of course, the water, my understanding, we used to run around on the lake all the time, and the water, when the lake is at normal heights, the water intake for the Gatesville water system is almost in 90 feet of water.
Right.
So there's a lot of water there. It's 15 foot deep up there at the bridge, or 15 to 20 foot deep. So once it goes dry there, we're still 60, 70 feet of water at the water intake. But still, it kind of gives you the...
Yeah, there's a website you can go to. It's called Texas Water waterdata.org or something like that. Mm-hmm. And it'll tell you what normal water level is, and then when dead plain is. So that's where the intakes are and stuff. So after that, you got silt and mud and stuff.
Right.
But it tells you how high it is and how far it can go.
Right.
So what are your views on the Second Amendment?
Second Amendment, I'm all for it. I think you should be able to protect yourself from any and all foes, whether it is personal protection or protection from a tyrannical government, or I think everybody should have the right to protect yourself and your family. And I encourage people to get themselves to the point where they can protect their family. A lot of people are anti-gun. I was raised around guns. I'm the old school guy. We used to have 22 rifles on the gun rack in our pickup at school and left the windows down. Back in the old days, And I got to tell a funny. Well, never mind. But I'll tell you as well.
Okay. So, what are your views on transparency?
Transparency is one of the utmost important things. I believe, and I'm pretty sure the county is working on becoming more transparent. I would like to see at some point the county finances. So you go to the meeting and they make the motion at the end of the meeting to pay the bills. Well, you probably can go online and see exactly what the bills are. I have not done that. But if it's not available, I would like, and it would take some work. Once you got it set up, it wouldn't be so bad every month, but it's going to take a little work to get it set up. But I'd like to see either a QuickBooks or a Quicken check register there, that every expense, every income for the county, if you're curious about what the county spends money on, you click the button and there's the check register. Every incoming and every outgoing check and deposit, and they can code it in there in the memo as, fund so-and-so or however they need to do it, but just for public information. They're still going to have their means of accounting the way that they do it. It's very difficult to keep up with now. You have to know what fund to look in. People talking about all the money missing and all that. I don't believe there's any money missing. I think you have to look in the right place to find it, and that's, most people won't go to the extent to educate themselves, and I'm one of them. I'm not going to learn another system of bookkeeping just to look. I mean, if elected, I'll have to, and I'll gladly do that. But it would be really nice if I could go on the county website and I could click on December 2025 finance report, and there is a check register in there with every line by line, every item that was spent, every penny that came in, and a balance sheet at the bottom.
Isn't that something that Miss McFarland can produce? She's the treasurer, right?
Yes. I'm not sure. I'll have to find it between her and the county auditor, and I don't know. But that's something that
But
I
it's all
will
a team.
actively pursue.
Y'all are all supposed to be a team.
Yes.
Even though y'all are all individually elected.
Right. It's something that I will actively pursue if I'm elected. And if I'm not elected, whoever is in that seat, I would highly, I'm going to bend their ear and try to get something like that. And then, like I said, I think the county's working on something. Mr. Belt brought up a deal the other day, and he put it pretty bluntly. He said it needs to be something a third grader can read.
Yeah, why not?
Simple, So I haven't heard any more talk about it, but I will pursue that along with audio video recordings.
Okay.
Is that? Will we get to that later?
No. We're talking about transparency.
Okay.
But, that's very important.
That's transparency to me. Every.
That might be a reason why there's so much disagreement among people living in Coryell County, because they can't see and hear everything that's going on in the commissioner's court.
And a lot of people are wanting to move the meetings to the evenings. I'm not against that. Let's try it for a period of time and see if it increases the visitors. If they still don't come, it's an imposition, because you got people that they're going to have time off during the day for that 2 or 2.5 hours to come in at 6 o'clock for a commissioners meeting. There's salaried people, so they shouldn't have to work overtime hours. Your bailiff, your county attorney, your commissioners, the judge, the court reporters, all the folks, the auditor, everybody that is required to be there. You do that for a few meetings, and you get 100 people show up that want to actually see what's going on. That's great. If you get the same 5 that you get during the daytime, I don't see any. It's quite an imposition to do that. But if that's what the people want, if the people will show up and support it, you bet I'm all for it.
Yeah, and then if you stream, you look at your impressions and click the
right. Everybody will have to
CTR.
have a camera on them. Everybody would have to, and I would. If I'm elected, I'm going to try to go through the Americans with Disabilities Act, because I have a hearing disability. I have a cochlear implant on my right ear. It is great now, but a year ago, it was like, I have 12% hearing in my right ear with a hearing aid. Now I'm at 87%. So it's like turning a light switch on. But there may be some ADA money to help with that.
Yeah. Well, have y'all thought, or have you thought about trying to redo the dais as inexpensive as possible, where everyone can face y'all, or y'all can face everybody at the same time?
Yes, we could do it with less equipment. I think the setup. So on the school board, I didn't. We're on an arch, and everybody sat there looking out at the audience, and I didn't really like that. I wanted to be looking at my constituents, the people that I'm working with. I like the way it's set up now. Maybe tighten it up just a little bit, where you can get, so like on a Zoom feed, you can get 4 or 5 or 6 6 camera angles on different people. I'm sure with the audio video people can do that if it took a couple of cameras, or and everybody needs to have a microphone. There needs to be one for the speaker's table, and every participant in the meeting needs to have, whether it's a wireless clip-on or if it's a permanent microphone or whatever it is. That will tremendously help me.
But you wouldn't be able to have a sidebar.
Turn it off. I don't. I'm sure that there is a situation where you need to have a sidebar.
That's right.
But
Texas open meetings.
Yes, I have nothing to hide. So, if I'm elected, you guys are paying my salary. You're gonna know what's going on. That's very important that you know what's going on. I want you to know what I'm doing. I want you to hold me accountable for what I'm doing.
Okay.
Accountability is a big thing.
Yep. So, would you be in favor of moving the commissioner's court to an evening meeting? You just mentioned
yes.
that.
If it was like we talked about, if it was justifiable, if you got enough increase in spectators or participants or whatever you want to call them, you bet.
Dr. Hawkins did that. for CCSD. They have meetings at night, and then he also put everything on video also.
Right.
So he knocked out two birds with one stone.
Right.
But I think there's a new law that says school board meetings have to be held at night. So
Right.
complying with the law.
Right. The like I said, if we get the same 5 people, 6, 7, 10 people that show up in the evenings that showed up in the daytime, we're not really accomplishing a lot. Like I said, it is an imposition on several people. But hey, if that's part of the job, it's part of the job. If it's necessary, then yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
I think everybody is willing to make that sacrifice if it will calm the public or let the public feel like we're not trying to hide anything. Everything's wide open here. We're 100% true.
So if will you vote for the eventual nominee if
Absolutely.
it's
I'm going to vote for the Republican candidate, whoever it is.
not you? Okay.
Just like I have for the last 40 years.
We don't have that. We don't have that kind of a problem here because
Right. There are no Democrats.
There's no Democrats. Yeah.
Right.
Thank goodness.
Yes.
We stay conservative in our state, in our county. So my last question for you is, I can't remember if I've left anything off this, but why does Rob Erwin want to be the county judge?
Well, the county judge is the chief executive of the county, responsible for the cohesive operation of the county commissioner's court, for budgeting, planning for the future of the county, emergency management. I have a good deal of experience running my own company back many years ago, budget process, serving 2 terms on the school board, working hard on the budget. The budget oversight I'm a numbers guy. I like the numbers part of the game. I like to watch all of that close, which I think will be a big plus in this job. I don't know. I've got a lot of experience. I've been in the first responder in Gatesville. I'm retired. I've been retired for a long time. I had a heart condition back. Had a quadruple bypass in 2013. So after that, I don't do a lot of real active stuff. Prior to that, it was hard to find a fire truck anywhere in the county that I wasn't on. One of them, or the tanker, was what I really enjoyed doing, was providing the water. I don't know. The county judge, I think that job is you have to provide leadership. You have to be accountable to yourself and to the people. He is the leader of the commissioner's court. When things go awry, I think it's his responsibility to get the train back on the track and get things going. I'm running for county judge because I believe the job's about leadership and accountability and service, not politics, service to the community. I said I'm a lifelong resident of the county, former business owner, first responder. I spent over 25 years as a volunteer in the fire department in Gatesville, held most of the offices with the exception of the fire chief. Billy Vaden was the chief the entire time I was in there, with one exception for 1 year. We just lost him to retirement, and that's going to be a blow to the fire service. Robert Featherston took over. He's going to do a great job, but you cannot fill Billy Vaden's shoes or boots, bunker boots, or however you want to look at it. Cannot do it. Spent, like I said, a couple of terms on the school board, working on the budgets. That was my big deal. Just protecting the taxpayer dollars. If elected as your county judge, I will bring steady, conservative, transparent leadership, prepare for emergencies, plan for future growth, treat the taxpayers' money, dollars, with respect. As your county judge, day one, I will restore a positive work environment to the Coryell County Annex. Everybody that I've talked to up there, they just report that as a toxic, extremely toxic work environment. That goes away day one. The rest of the county offices, shortly thereafter. I mean, we have to treat people with dignity and respect, and we have to act as grown-ups. We're all grown here, I'm no better than you. You're no better than me. We're eye to eye. Nobody's up here looking down. I don't care who you are or what position you hold. We're on level ground. I don't know. I'm going to have to get the commissioners' court back together. Everybody working toward the same goal. I don't think that's a big job. I think all that stuff's going to happen very quickly. Just, hold yourself accountable and ask for the taxpayers and the citizens to hold me accountable as well. Do the right thing. At the end of the day, that's easy to do. You look back on your day, I did the right thing. Every situation. Lead by example. How can you ask for accountability when you yourself are not accountable? That's a big deal with me. I will listen, speak clearly, act decisively, respect any and all comments. There's not a dumb question, really. It's not a dumb question. If you don't know the answer, it's not a dumb question, and it's every question needs to be answered. You need to keep your conversations professional and to the point. I don't know, to just protect the tax dollars, respect the citizens, respect the council members or the commissioners. Respect goes a long way. I'll serve Coryell County as a coordinator and not a divider. Try to coordinate people, get everybody back on the same page, and let's get this thing going down the road like it needs to go. Smooth ride. I'm in it for the smooth ride. I think we can get there.
Okay.
I don't think it will take nearly as long as some folks might think.
So early vote is February 17th to February 27th.
Yes.
And then primary day is March 3rd. And there's always a distinct possibility, since there's three of y'all in this race, it could go to a runoff.
Absolutely.
So all bets are off. You got to get
Cross
out
my
there.
fingers.
Everyone's got to get out there and campaign.
If the people will get out and vote, we are a month or less away from early voting.
Yeah.
So it's time to get the horses running.
Oh my goodness, it's the 19th. Yeah.
Yes.
Less than a month. Yeah. 28 days.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
So,
well, thank you very much.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to address your audience and yourself and like I said, I hope we can get folks motivated and get them talking and spreading the word and your vote is your voice. If you don't vote, then you don't have a gripe. You didn't put your 2 cents worth in, so don't come back later and try to put it in.
All right, everybody. That's Mr. Erwin. He wants to be your county judge. Enjoy the interview when you see it. Leave comments on the comment section of the podcast. He will see them, just like everybody else that did interviews. They get to see them too. All right. So let me do all my sign off and stuff. Thank you very much for tuning in to the JP8 Report. And then ask you, don't forget, if you're not a follower of the JP8 Report, click that follow button. I do my podcast Monday through Friday at noon, and I do some at 6:30 in the morning. Most people are still asleep then. But I do it from 6:30 to 7, and I do it at noon.
I have a bad habit of waking up early.
And then please like and share the podcast also, all right? So thank you very much for tuning in. And this is James Pierce with the JP8 Report. Catch you on the flip side. I'm out.
That works.